Alright, so sorry, I've got to keep my voice down. I've got my sister staying over in the next room. She's helping us take care of our dog. He had a horrible incident. My mum was walking him, and a bull terrier came out of an open gate. Someone left the gate open, and yeah, he's only a little Jack Russell, and he got attacked by a bull terrier. So it's horrific. It's been pretty challenging. He's we're just taking shifts, taking care of him. Luckily, he's survived. Honestly, like it's been a really tough few days, but we're getting there, and he's recovering really well. But yeah. Regardless, I have had a little bit of time to just. This isn't a live commentary. This is I've pre-recorded my voice here instead to upload to a gameplay footage in future. So basically, this is Berserk Enhanced Edition for the Atari 2600 Plus. I really love this console. Honestly, I never collected for the Atari 2600 before. It's one that I've kind of thought about collecting for, but just never got around to it for whatever reason. And I did grow up playing some of these games. Unfortunately, the Atari 50 game for the PS5, PS4, and the Xbox that one isn't that. There isn't like games like Berserk and Pitfall and all that on there. I'll chuck my review of that game in the description below of this video, so be sure to check that out. It wasn't like a bad game or anything. Like I say in the review, it's more of a museum of just distinctly Atari games, not Activision, and I think Activision created some fantastic gems on the Atari console. But anyway, I digress. Berserk Enhanced Edition is a great game. It's there are some things that are slightly different from the original, like the bots can shoot diagonal. So yeah, it's it's more of a challenge. The bots also talk. I think I heard that that's taken from the arcade version, but I could be wrong. But regardless, it's quite a cool feature. I love hearing like old school like talking on consoles. It's really neat, even though like the voice clarity is like atrocious, but it's just cool to hear. So yeah, they've just kind of, one thing I would really have loved to have seen would be like a multiplayer version. Would be quite neat, because I know that they can do a little bit more with the 2600 plus now, so it'd be cool to have like 2-player sort of co-op, but you could also shoot each other if that would be possible. But I don't think, I mean, surely if it was possible, they would have done it, right? But yeah, it's quite a fun game. It's a lot more different to the original, a lot more difficult. There's one thing that kind of frustrates me, and that's when you shoot a bot. If you walk into the explosion, you die, and that never happened on the original. Like, you could, as soon as you shot the bot, you were safe to keep progressing forward, or up, down, left, or right. So yeah, that's kind of different. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. I have had some instances where I've shot at a bot and it hasn't got defeated, but I think that might be because it's just created a bullet at the same time. So I've been shooting at the same time the bot has. So and it's just collided my bullet with their bullet, so it looks like I have shot it and I've done no damage, but that is not the case. So yeah, but the explosions of the bots are kind of, yeah, that's a bit of a pain in the butt. But apart from that, it's actually a really cool game. It controls a lot more smoother than the original, which, I mean, that's to be expected, really. It's a new game after all. But yeah, I highly recommend this console, and I just wanted to kind of dive into why I think the 2600 Plus is a really important console. and why more people should support it. Well, reasons one being it is physical hardware. There seems to be a trend coming very soon of digital only games, and when game companies are getting that cocky that they're turning around and going, oh, well, you just better get used to not owning your games, well, that's a real concern. So one thing I really love and respect about this is it is physical only, so there's no digital downloads or anything like that. It is emulation, but it's done really well, and you can use your old Atari cartridges. So I never actually owned any old Atari cartridges, so I'm speaking to you as a newcomer to the Atari 2600 collections. So yeah, I never actually owned any. I bought, when I made my mind up to buy the console, I bought a couple of second-hand games, one being Berserk and the other one being like a fun, sort of like a super action pack or something like that, I think it's called, super hit pack. Yeah, super hit pack, I think it's called, from Activision, and it had like, the only reason why I got it was because it had fishing in it, Fishing Derby. I love that game. So yeah, my sister and I played that when we were young, so I was like, that's one I'm definitely going to have to get. And I'm looking at getting more, but Atari are releasing brand new games. So like Berserk Enhanced Edition, this here is a whole new game. It looks like an old game, but it's really neat that they did an enhanced edition. So there's a brand new IP they've created called Mr. Run and Jump. So yeah, it looks really fun. I'm gonna have to pick that one up at some stage and give that a go. Shared some of my point of views on that, and yeah, it's really cool. I'm gonna have to collect more games. It makes me want to just fill my library up more. And like I said, this is just emulation. Basically what it's doing is taking the cartridge, like the official Atari game, and dumping the ROM onto the console. So there's a little bit of a wait when you first boot it up, when you first turn the console on with the game in it. But it's still, once you're in the game, it's really fun. And, who can't be waiting for like just a couple of seconds while the game loads? It's not that big a deal. So one thing, you get a game with it as well, which is like, I think it's like, what is it? Is it 10 games in one or something? And it's got like sort of dip switches on the back, and I heard a lot of people sort of complaining about it, how it's like, oh, it's real fiddly, and I'd rather just like choose the game out of a list of games and all this stuff. But I actually think it's really cool. Like it makes you feel like it's a very vintage thing, and that's, I believe, what they were going for with it. And so yeah, it's kind of like it's some kind of cryptic like Da Vinci Code type thing where you gotta like switch the dip switches to, like, there's 4 different dip switches, and you gotta switch them up and down, and depending on what ones are up and what ones are down, it selects a different game when you put the cartridge in. So I think it's a really cool idea, actually. It reminds me of like a Resident Evil puzzle in real life type thing, so it's quite neat. So it comes with, I think, Yar's Revenge. That's one of the 10 games. I think it comes with Adventure. I don't know what the hell I'm doing in it, but these ones are kind of mediocre, and you can get them on the Atari 50 collection for your PS4 or 5 or Xbox, whatever. But yeah, it's quite cool that they included these games in the Atari 2600 pack. So you get these kind of like standard Atari games, but they sell Berserk Enhanced Edition and Mr. Run and Jump separately. So, and here's hoping that they create more. I'd love to see more. But unfortunately, the only way you're going to be able to play games like Frogger and Pitfall and stuff would be by actually finding the old school cartridges and using those. But it's just really frustrating. I wish that they would sort of Activision and that would get on board and kind of help them push this console, because this is really going to print money if people like really sort of click on to it and be like, well, yeah, I want to have physical games, I want to have physical media, I want to actually own my games, I don't want to just rent them from a server and have a big boring list. I mean, it's convenient, don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of getting digital games as well. I can see the appeal, but when companies are doing sleazy shit like taking online services offline, and that's your money that you paid for this, thinking that you would always be able to have access to it. Now, if they take the entire service off, you no longer have access to these games. You no longer have any sort of official way of re-downloading them or downloading updates or anything like that. It's just, yeah, like look at the PS3. The PS3's probably on its way out soon. A lot of people are still playing that and really enjoying it. I've gone on playing Battlefield with my friend Baron Waffles. We play Battlefield 3 and 4 on there, and there's like servers are still full. So there's people that are still playing and enjoying these old games, and it's just sad that one day they're not going to exist. Like Resistance 3 for the PS3, there's just no way of playing that online anymore. So yeah, this is what's going to happen, guys. This is what's going to happen to like you go on Plants vs Zombies, for instance. I mean, you're probably thinking, oh, Plants vs Zombies, that's an old game. Like, who would play that? The Garden Warfare, the first one for PS3. You go on there, no one's playing it. Now, I'm sure there's a community on Facebook or whatever that meet up and decide to play it on certain days and things, but it's not the same. And I know that the online market for online games is absolutely flooded. So it's kind of like everyone's just playing Fortnite or something else, you know. So these games just, no one plays them, and it's really sad. But and one day the online will get taken off, and I'm not sure about Fortnite, but I mean that has the risk of being taken offline as well. It just takes a few corporate decisions to change things, a few shifts in the chain, so to speak. So yeah, this is something we should be all very concerned about. And when Ubisoft's coming out and saying, oh, gamers better get used to not owning their games, like that is that's a massive concern. So yeah, anyway, I think it's important that people support physical media like the Atari 2600 Plus, the Evercade system. That's another one that I was going to get before I got the 2600 Plus, but I decided to just get the 2600 Plus for now. But I mean, who knows, maybe I'll get an Evercade in future, I don't know. But I just really want to support physical media, because like these people really do care about the nostalgia and the and you know, being able to physically own stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I want to support, not this like Nintendo. I really don't like what their business decisions have been like with the Nintendo Switch. And everyone's talking about the Switch 2 now already, and they're like, oh, well, you know, you got an online account, so you can just re-download all those games for the Switch, the original Switch on the Switch 2, probably. And it's like, yeah, probably, like, maybe, I don't know, but there's always that risk, like they did with the Wii U, how they got rid of the Virtual Console, and it's not profitable for them to have these games from your old account on your new account. So that's more or less what they did with the Nintendo Online service. They were like, well, we don't want people owning these games, we want to charge them for the online service, and they can just rent them. Of course that's going to be profitable for them, so why the hell wouldn't they do it? So they could do exactly the same thing. I mean, sure, some games might get ported over, but there's probably going to be hardly any. Like, look at the GameCube games and stuff like that. Everyone was like, oh, you know, Nintendo's got this massive library. It's all this stuff that could be potentially put on the online service even, and a lot of it isn't. So a lot of the stuff at the beginning of the Switch's life was just rehashes of Wii U games. And then only now are they starting to create like games that are, in my personal opinion, are worth playing. Like, I've never been into sort of Japanese RPGs really. I mean, I've got Fire Emblem Three Houses. That's a really good game, but I just don't. There's just nothing that's tickled my fancy. And Smash Bros. Don't get me wrong, I love Smash Bros. But I'm Smash Bros. Out, man. Like, it is done to death. And I truly believe that the N64 version was the best. Like, that is that is the only one that's really... I mean, it's just kind of been characters for the sake of characters. And it's like that now. Not that I'm saying that Smash Bros. Ultimate is crap or anything. I'm just saying, like, there's been a lot of effort. And that was pretty much Nintendo's cash cow. Then they milked the absolute shit out of it. But, like... you can only do that for so long. And it's just kind of like the launch of the Switch snuck up on them. They didn't realise that, oh, we actually kind of need games for this. So only now are they bringing out things like Super Mario RPG and, like, in all honesty, I feel like a lot of these Mario games for the Switch are pretty much a soulless experience. I had this discussion with my friend Waffles. It's like they're not putting the fun and the creativity into things as much anymore. It's like, I felt like they did that with the 3DS. They definitely put a lot more creativity and a lot more thought into their product. But with the Switch, it's just kind of like, oh, we're just going to charge people for the basic mechanic of a game and just kind of give them the very bare bones. Mario Strikers, Mario Tennis Aces. Should I go on? Probably not, but yeah, I mean, even, don't get me wrong, I also love Mario Odyssey, but that game is just grindy as shit. Like, once you've completed the basic game, it's just like, you can just fish around for moons. Yeah, that's fun. Like, let's insult the player's intelligence by getting them to just walk around and collect an infinite amount of stupid, boring fucking moons. Like, that's not fun for me. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, I've been ranting on long enough, but it's just how I feel. And yeah, support independent comics, support independent games, support physical media. Because this is the only way we're going to be able to carry on this ownership of media. It's very sad. The future's looking very sad if we just conform to this digital only, losing our rights to own anything kind of thing. So, you own nothing and you'll be happy. Well, no. Actually, I want to own what I want to own. And, yeah, tough shit. So... alright, there's a massive market out there, like, what the hell are they doing? So, yeah, alright, catch us later, bye.